Hello there, beautiful souls, beautiful humans. How are you doing? Rosanna RozyGlow Hannah's here with our final energy update of this year. Oh my goodness. What is happening? What are we being led into in 2024? Well, we're being led into the most phenomenal year of all. We're opening up to the 888 Lionsgate. And I promise you, everything that is going on presently is actually to support us to make the most of the phenomenal, benevolent downpour that is available to us. But you know what? You can only capture as much good energy as you have the capacity to capture. Your structures need to be in place to allow yourself to receive. Imagine that, there's going to be a downpour of the most phenomenal manna rain, but you've only got a tiny little bucket, right? How much of that are you going to be able to capture? This is the time now over the next few months as we lead into August to really expand our container capacity to receive. And that's what this is all about. So this is a solstice energy update, and it is also a full moon in Cancer energy update. And I got the download this morning, which blew me away. So as always, if you're new to my updates, we really look back to look forward to see what's actually going on in the present. And we did have a new moon in Sagittarius, which is leading to this full moon in Cancer. But I want to remind you that the last full moon was in Gemini. So we've had the energy of air, fire, now water. What does that actually lead us to? Stay tuned to find out. So for everyone who's here on my Facebook group, it's always great to see you. Your comments, your likes, your loves. Please share anything that blows you away in terms of what I'm saying and anything that's coming up for you that you want witnessed. And for those of you who are joining me on YouTube, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the sharing. This just means the world to me. So if you missed the memo, I have now stopped running the new moon activations and the full moon co-creation meditations and healings in the public arena. We have now created a membership that is in the 2 figures for everybody, okay, 2 to 3 figures, so it should be accessible for the most of you. And this is really to be able to harness the energy and take it deeper. So you will find information about that membership in the text box, whether it's up or down. Check it out. It's called the StarPeace CoCreators Circle. And really, it's a circle and a spiral. We don't do either or, we do and this and more. And it is designed to support you to see your progress through each month, each year, in terms of your intentions, in terms of the activations required, the shadow elements that come up, and how we actually clear resistance as best we can without taking a deeper dive. Now, for those of you who know the value of actually working with the subconscious and clearing the subconscious, that's what my coaching programs are about. We've got some exciting stuff I'll tell you about in a little while about that in terms of what's coming up as we get to the end of this year and the start of the new year. For now, let's just set the scene. We are coming towards the longest night in the Northern Hemisphere, the shortest night in the Southern Hemisphere. So, this is that opportunity to either see a huge revelation around with a sort of 360 view of the light, or to find in the deep, dark abyss, if you like, of our own inner being, what is there that is waiting to be ignited, and also what is there that needs to be composted in order for what we want to materialize. I say this because I've really noticed in this last week the gift of being in the darkest hour before dawn, which is what it is in the Northern Hemisphere, is that we get to see how we're getting in our own way. And we get to clear that and turn the lessons of 23 into blessings so that we can bridge, from where we are to where we want to be and see what we set in motion actually materializing. Now, last year, when I held the New Year's Day event, it was all about aligning with your divine destiny. Now, this was an in-person event, and just stay with me on this because it's important. It was about aligning with your divine destiny and increasing our visibility. So being more radiant so that we can magnetize towards us that which we want. We need to be visible for what we actually desire. And we had a very, very potent day in July, which was actually a corridor. We've had several portals opening this year, which is like the foundation of next year. But essentially what I've come to see through this is that it was about alignment in 23. 24 is about embodiment. Now, whether you're into the Gregorian calendar, whether you're into, the natural, the sun calendar, as it were, as far as anyone who's following the solstices and the equinoxes goes, the new year starts on the 23rd of this month. So we're really so close to it. And, when I talk about what this is all about, and if you want to join me for the masterclass and the full moon world service, it's a personal healing, and it's also a subconscious clearing, a co-creation meditation, which is reality crafting the future, and also a masterclass on the solstice. That's going to be on Friday. The whole point of this time is really about slowing right down, like really slowing down so that you access your inner zero point, your inner zero balance. Now, you've heard me talk about this before. When you access your zero balance inside of you, it opens you up to the 0 point field. All around you, you see the infinite possibilities. For those of you who are attracted to my work are here choosing the choiceless path, if that makes sense, which is the highest path you can choose. So when you go, just take everything else out of the way. I want to fulfill my mission here on this earth in the most graceful, easy, and joyful way. I chose this mission. I know that part of that mission is I'm well resourced. That means I've got financial support, I've got emotional support, I've got psychological support, and I've got spiritual support. I feel really well supported to do what I came here to do. And a big part of this, my beautiful, beautiful soul humans who are yet to be in sacred union, is to understand how important sacred union is in terms of fulfilling our soul mission. Now, whether that means sacred union with the divine, with your higher self, or with a significant other, this is really about you feeling integrated, whole, resolved, that whatever personal desires you have, let's call them wants, let's call them needs. What are the longings deep inside of you? Imagine those being met. Imagine that you don't actually need in any way to focus on that anymore because it's there. Whatever you were striving towards is there for you. That's what is very important for us to have as a foundation so that we can create from a place of thriving, of an overflowing cup, rather than continuing to create in the old paradigm, which is from lack, from struggle, from suffering. Okay, and I'm not going to go too much into fourth density and fifth density, but the beauty of now is our opportunity to get clear. What is it I want? What is it I have a longing for now? What is it that I feel did work out the way I wanted it to this year? What is it that I feel didn't? Because as we're coming into this energy and we look at the last full moon, the air energy that then met the new moon fire energy, like Sagittarian energy is all about burning away fear. To me, this, when I tuned into it and asked the StarPeace Collective to guide me on it, it was very much about imagine a bushfire. You know, here's this devastation that, you know, doesn't stop for anyone, right? And literally will take out nature, will take out, you know, man-made, whatever is in the way. And yet it's essential to new growth, though it can create terrible devastation. We know this with natural disasters around the world, but in terms specifically of a bushfire, it is to encourage new growth. So in our personal lives, in our individual worlds, this is the time now, that energy of the wind and the fire coming together, that will create the kind of energy to clear away that which is not part of the ongoing path of you. Now, there is a difference between that which is taken away because it's not part of your path and that which you block because you're actually scared of what you want and you're creating self-sabotage. And it's discernment that tells you this, okay? So sometimes we can get in touch with our desires, our hopes, our dreams, and be really excited. And I've had this experience myself by them. And then we actually get really scared by the impact we could have, by the potential to shift in the collective. And as a result of that, we self-sabotage. And I have learned that the hard way many times. Every time I've up-leveled, I've met my own resistance. Is what all my coaching work is about. It's how you deal with that and then grow through it so you can help others to grow through it, right? We're all passing the light on. So the gift of the Sagittarian new moon was really about bringing to light the fears and the doubts that are holding us back, the ways that we ourselves are stopping ourselves having what we want, and actually the way we perceive what happens around us as either good or bad. Can you move beyond the judgment and get curious and actually say, hold on a minute. Everything's happening in my favor. Everything is conspiring to support me to live the most aligned embodiment of my divine destiny. So what's going on here? I might not like it, but if I step back, what's the bigger picture here? What is happening? Oh, I'm being shown clearly where I want my focus to be. I'm being shown clearly where I'm trying to convince myself I want something that I don't. I'm being shown clearly where I'm making do when actually it's not cutting it. We have to have this honest dialogue. It's very important. So as we come into this full moon in Cancer, which is actually on the 26th, so 22nd is the solstice, and then we have the full moon in Cancer. So we're now on the 19th. That means we're a week away from this full moon. So the energy is building towards it. Now, the vision I had was really interesting when I tapped into this full moon, which was about the fact that the bushfires, if you like, were kind of creating such a furnace of heat around our planet that it was creating like a molten crust around the earth. And then the energy of water coming in with the full moon in Cancer was basically cooling down this molten rock, like lava rock, to the point that it cools so much it cracks, okay, because the temperature change has been so severe, right, that it just cracks. The heat from inside the earth, the cooling from the outside just creates this shell, literally shedding, like just cracking. And it was like the birth of a new dawn for humanity. All right, like this is really what I saw. Now we know there's two, well, there's wars going on all over the place, but two ones that play out on the global stage that we're being made aware of. And yet, you know, we can't really say, oh, war is a good thing, but we can ask the question, what good can come of it? And what I'm seeing more than anything is amazing people speak up where they would be in their rights to be angry, to project, to blame, to want to attack in order to make right. They're not. And it's not even about turning the other cheek. This isn't about self-sacrifice. It's about saying, what else can we do? Now, if you're new to me in the StarPeace movement, the whole point of the StarPeace movement is imagining a new reality into being. That's the invitation. I know what I don't want, so what I don't want helps me to understand what I do want. So when you look into the world and you go, oh my goodness, isn't that terrible? Okay, I'm not liking what I'm seeing there. What would I like to see instead? Because we can't help it. As humans, we energize what we don't want, right? We moan, we complain. You know, I am never more passionate, to be honest. There's two truths here. One, when I'm really angry, God help anyone around me, like Tempest RozyGlow, or when I'm really excited. And it's happened both in my full moon co-creations and also in my yoga classes. I'm so full of energy and excitement that literally it throws Zoom out. Okay. And I know I'm not the only one to go through this, but our energy is super powerful. So we moved in that last full moon. It was a Gemini full moon. It was about the different voices, the angel and the devil, the wounded and the resolved. There was all this energy of higher octave invitation for us to choose our highest timeline. So from my perspective now, as I look into the energies, we have an evolved inner masculine, an evolved inner feminine in terms of our inner mum and dad, now in a position where they feel confident that they can nurture the needs of the inner child, the divine child, so it doesn't feel like it's being neglected, ignored, unseen, unheard. And it can say, I want to experience this. And then mum and dad say, okay, well, if you want to experience this, we're going to prepare you for it. You're going to need to align with this and this and this and this and this. And then that will allow you to create that, right? So we're moving into the era of uniarchy is basically what I'm saying here. And although I'm not offering the readings as I used to in terms of the, you know, the new moon activations are now an intention setting activation with a reading, and those who join me live co-create with me what it is that we're seeding for the full moon to clear. And the full moons are the actual clearing of resistance of everything that's been brought to light, and the visioning, holding the vision of the new world we want to create. So, you know, at this point in time, it's about peace, right? We're in the era, well, not even in the era, we're in the time of year, which is about peace on earth. Thank goodness, you know, this enlightened being came to the earth, perhaps an alien, and brought a whole new concept to the world that then got distorted as humans do, and you know the message got twisted, and never mind what comes from that. But the essence of this being that came to say, hey, we don't need to do the old way anymore, we can actually come from love. This is really, really important because peace on earth is actually the result of peace in our own beings. And peace is not something that you kind of achieve and then that's it, it's done. It's a dynamic state, like inner harmony, inner equilibrium, like being in a relationship and nurturing it so that when things come up, you transmute the conflict into resolution. We're learning to do this inside of us. And as we do that inside of us, we will see it in the world. Now, I know lots of people do predictions about what's coming in 24, 25, whatever. And you know what I can't help but wondering is how anyone can actually predict what's going to happen as we are claiming the truth that we are multidimensional beings of love and light. And as a result of that, we are each choosing to align with the highest timeline. And we're each choosing our own free will, as it were, as to how we're going to actually experience the next year. You know, what we focus on grows. So I know every time I went for a reading as my multidimensional nature came online, whoever would read me would be like, well, today it's this, tomorrow it's that. You keep shifting timelines. I'm like, yeah, it depends on my vibration. And that's true for the collective too. So when we're all in a lot of density, it's easier to predict what's going to happen. But now that we're bringing more light to our shadow, now that there's so much more awakening of humanity, timelines are shifting all the time. So I'm inviting you to imagine that this year, co-create it with me. This is the invitation. We are conscious co-creating beings. We are here to co-create the reality that we desire through the power of our imagination, right? The way that happens is we set intention, shadow resistance comes up, we clear it, we align with it, we raise the bar. So how would it feel if this year was the year that actually war really got put into question as a solution? And heads of state all around the world, political leaders, religious leaders, scientists, all the great minds around the world started to talk about being in the heart, started to talk about higher consciousness, started to talk about how we could evolve beyond the need to attack each other and how we could evolve beyond the need to be corrupt as human beings, because systemic corruption in the world outside of us is a reflection of the systemic corruption inside of us. So if we are willing to do the cleanup job inside of us, it's going to change around us. And if you like the sound of what I just said, please comment yes, #StarPeace. Yeah. This is the year that we start now to really talk about solution beyond war, that we start to talk about understanding just because things have been a certain way for so long, it's not the way they have to be in the future. I'm always very curious about how we love to judge various heads of state, for the way they show up and what they say, etc., etc. And I'm like, everything is so manipulated by the time we actually see it. That are we not constantly being manipulated in our opinions too? Yeah. And anyone who knows my passion for the entertainment industry knows that I'm talking really here about the fact that through entertainment, we can kind of re-educate the world, right? We can tell the world what's coming. And it's like an agreement by acquiescing to something just because you give it your attention. So, you know, I don't know what kind of movies and TV series you like to watch, but let's just say if you're watching Armageddon, you're watching Deep Impact, you're watching all that kind of thing, you're kind of lending your energy to that kind of outcome for the planet. Whereas if you were choosing to watch other things, I'll tell you something that's going on Thursday, you're putting your energy in somewhere different. You're putting your energy in the idea that the world can grow in a different direction. So on Thursday, there is a really cool event. It's a free global event. I put the link for it for you all. It's called theonefield.com. Now, you may have heard of Lynn McTaggart. I'm sure you've heard of Bruce Lipton. There are a few other speakers, Greg Braden, I believe, a few other big, beautiful luminaries are coming together. And this is something that you may have heard about from 2017, which is the intention experiment. And to cut a long story short, we've had different religions coming together, different Arab states coming together. So you've had the Jewish, the Christians, the Muslims coming together around Jerusalem to intend to reduce the violence by 10% through meditation and prayer. And this has involved the Heart Math Institute as well. I'm so excited about this. This is real. This is happening. So what they're going to be doing on Thursday is they're going to be revealing the outcome of the experiment and, you know, all the data that they've gathered over the last few years. And this is the finale. So I'll put the link for you about it. And all I would say, is, if you can't make it live, sign up anyway. Add your energy to it. In the same way that I would love you to go to starpeaceconsciousness.com, and I'll put the link in, have a read of the manifesto. And if you would like to see the world start to shape up that way, put your name to it, please. Okay? It's time now. It's time now for us to decide to co-create what we want by putting our energy into it. And that is the gift of this new moon and this full moon, because what we're doing is we're basically being shown that the light inside of us is so much more powerful than the darkness. And if we focus on that, like, solutions beyond our wildest dreams will start to appear, because we're all supporting each other to see things in a new light. And that is what we're being prepared for in 2024. Now, with the solstice coming, as I said to you, the solstice really is this slowing right down to the 0 point that allows us to access the raw creative energy that is source, and to direct that energy where we want it to go. So I've called my event, which is on the 22nd, The Light I Shine in the Dark. And that's all we need to do, is plug in, switch on, bring the light through us and radiate it out. Imagine what it would take if most of humanity got the message. Anyone on YouTube got the message to do that. How many people are on YouTube? Just imagine what is possible if every one of us did that. We chose to be channels of light and love. We chose to spread it across the planet. That's the invitation. So, a couple of things for you here. As I said to you, I've started this new membership, this StarPeace CoCreators Circle. And basically, the gold level membership, which is £99 a month, gives you access to the monthly masterclasses live with me, the new moon and the full moon sessions live with me, and no less than 8 online live yoga sessions a month with me, 2 a week. Tuesdays 10 a.m. UK time, Fridays 1 p.m. UK time, and a whole back library of multidimensional yoga classes to see you through. And what we've decided is we're not going to be running live classes over Christmas and New Year, so we stop of the 22nd, that's the last day, we resume on the 8th. But anyone who joins us and signs up for the masterclass gets 6 weeks of access. You get the next new moon, the next full moon, and the masterclass. So you get a real opportunity to come in, gain some real value, access your peace codes, take away tools that you can work with over this festive period, and actually take the lessons, turn them into blessings that have been this last year. If you don't know me, I kind of do a psychic Q&A. So when you join me live, I'll tune into you and I'll channel what's coming through. You'll have oracle cards coming your way, which I'll pick specifically for you. If you give me an insight into something that's going on for you, then I will come back to you with that. And this is it. Okay, how long this membership is going to be open for, I don't know. It just depends what happens, because I'm being called to StarPeace. I'm being called to basically share the vision of the StarPeace book around the world, and that's going to be taking me into some interesting new directions. But for now, what I want to say to you is check out the links: onefield.com, the StarPeace Co-Creators membership, so you can find out about the Solstice Gathering on Friday. Now, yoga's on Friday and the Solstice Gathering's on Friday. 6 p.m. is the Solstice Gathering, UK time, GMT. So it should be accessible for those of you on Eastern and Pacific time. And of course, if you can't join me live, you can catch the replay. But from that day, the light returns and we move in a new arena. And this is where, come the new year, I'm excited to say I'm going to offer a free masterclass, which will be about liberating yourself from limitation in 2024. And also, if you are interested in what it means to get fearless, loved up and limitless, then I'll be explaining more about that and the options available. Because as always, the more of us that choose to be co-creators of our reality, the more of us that choose to evolve beyond the fear matrix and to tap into the divine matrix, the more you see the shift in this world happen quickly, gracefully, and easily. And it is happening. But the training is to focus on what you want to energize, on the vision of what is shifting rather than the problem. So I'm going to leave that there. It feels like it's a complete enough session. If you have any questions around what I'm saying, please do comment and I will respond. my big theme for 2024 is about sacred union and divine destiny. And if you go onto the events page that I'll share with you, which has the membership and it has all these other things going down as well. If you're local to England, to Brighton, to Peacehaven, which is near where I am, I've got 2 in-person events on the 20th and the 21st of January. So, you know, what I would say to this is that in-person stuff with me is rocket fuel. Okay, so you might well know about my divine navigation calls. If you know you'd like to have a communication with your soul, a deep clearing and healing, and a very clear sense of direction to move into, then give yourself the gift of a divine navigation call. But just also know that for the price of one of those, you can come and join me for the day. So if you are local and you want to have the experience of being in a small intimate group where we literally write the story of 2024 for ourselves and do as much resistance clearing as possible, then you're going to really enjoy that event. All right. I think you're all so amazing showing up doing this work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We've got a very exciting 2024 ahead. And I wish every one of you a wonderful ending of 23 and start of 24. Remember, there's a lot of planets that are going direct, you know, as we move into the new year. Yes, we have got Mercury retrograde presently, but the gift of that is just being able to dot the I's and cross the T's and make sure that you haven't left things that need to be dealt with, right? The banks of the river so the river can flow. Taking you back to what I said at the start of this energy update, we're all here to activate and strengthen our divine architecture to bring in more of our soul light as basically the photon streaming increases on this planet. Solar flares you've been hearing about, right? The Schumann resonance you've been hearing about. All that happens is we either get frazzled by it because we haven't got the systems that can take it, or we increase our capacity for voltage. And that's why the multidimensional yoga I teach is intrinsic to every part of the membership and any kind of coaching we offer through RozyGlow or I do individually. If you don't strengthen your physical being to actually be able to hold that energy, you're going to short circuit, you're going to blow a fuse, you're going to find yourself going back, forward, back, forward, back, forward all the time. And that's no fun. And if you haven't yet tried the multidimensional yoga, it is very different to the yoga that you'll do in a class. Whatever style, I've trained in many styles of yoga. I don't know anyone who teaches the way I do, and I'm not blowing my trumpet on this. It's just a unique way of activating our divine architecture, as I said, our soul chakra, earth chakra, our light bodies, our energy fields, and it's a lot of fun and it's very simple and you can apply it to everything else. So I'll leave that there. I look forward to your comments. Have a wonderful, wonderful festive time. And remember, there's lots of extra goodies for coming and joining us. So if you want to find out more, check out the links. And as always, StarPeace, peace on earth, peace in our time. Remember, StarPeace, personal peace, world peace. That's how it works, beautiful ones. Take care for now.